Well, for more, we have Nick Harper joining us from Washington. Well, Nick, Pelosi, Clinton and other star guests took stage at Democratic National Convention today. Anticipation is high for Walz's speech. Tell us the highlights of day 3.
Yeah, that Tim Walz speech probably about under an hour away from now, within the next 30 minutes or so. A real opportunity for the Minnesota governor to introduce himself to America at a time when only 4 out of 10 Americans say they really know anything about him or what he stands for. He is that middle of America American, a former football coach, a high school teacher, really having that opportunity to speak to a huge televised audience, as well as that audience in Chicago. Likely going to be the biggest speech of his political career. But Oprah Winfrey, who has just finished speaking, is one of the most influential women in the world. And she was speaking about Kamala Harris's Indian heritage, speaking about her Indian mother, her Jamaican father, and saying that being an immigrant is what makes Americans often American. She said it is the best of America, very much trying to push back against the anti-immigrant policies that we're likely to see if Donald Trump comes back into office. He's promised mass deportations if he's re-elected. And Oprah Winfrey was trying to make the case for the difference between Harris and Trump. She said that voters had to choose optimism over cynicism, inclusion over retribution, and common sense over nonsense. And she also said that the Democrats, headed by Harris, were fighting for freedoms, things like reproductive rights, civil rights, and abortion rights. It very much has been an evening, this evening, of trying to draw that distinction between Harris and her rival in November, Donald Trump.
All right, Nick. Also, the theme for the third day is a fight for our freedoms, where Democrats emphasized on the importance of Harris as a defender of American freedoms. What are the takeaways?
Yeah, that's right. Very interesting to note that they have very much switched to a more policy-centred day today, day 3. Day 2, there was an air of levity in many ways, a celebratory atmosphere when we heard from the former President Barack Obama and the former First Lady Michelle Obama. There was a dance at one point with musical stars going through the audience. This evening, there is much more focus on those policies and the freedoms that the Democrats say that they are trying to uphold, but the Republicans, they say, are trying to do away with. Things like abortion rights, which has been a huge motivator for many Democrats during the course of the last 2 years or so, since the Supreme Court struck down that nationwide right to abortion. And since then, we've seen many Republican-led states making it very difficult for women to get abortions in those states. It's something that Democrats have campaigned hard on and feel that it will give them a real opportunity as they head towards November's election. So saying that they will be holding up those rights, but also the rights of democracy and freedom, and reminding Americans that Donald Trump was the president at the time of the January 6th attack, when we saw those Trump supporters trying to overrun the US Capitol and trying to take away what the Democrats are saying, those inalienable rights of Americans, democracy and freedom.
All right. So high voltage atmosphere there. Thank you so much, Nick, for all that.